Good afternoon. My name is Noa Argamani, and I'm really glad to be here with you today. Just over a year ago, nobody knew my name. My partner, Avinatan Or, and I came to the Nova Music Festival, a festival of love, peace, and community. As you know, on that terrible October 7th morning, we were taken hostage by Hamas terrorists. So at 6:30 in the morning, when the rocket started, we thought this is just another round from Gaza. This is how, when you grow up in the south of Israel, you get used to rocket fire your whole life. But as soon as we realized that it's not just a rocket fire, we got into our car, but the terrorists started shooting at us no matter where we returned. Suddenly, our car got stuck. We jumped out, running into the forest, all under rocket fire. We were hiding for hours until we discovered by a group of terrorists. One of the terrorists grabbed me, and I begged for him. Please don't kill us. They threw me into a motorcycle. I screamed to Avinatan because I didn't want us to separate. After a minute on the motorcycle, I was suddenly in the middle of Gaza. That was the last time that I saw my partner. In captivity, I asked about Avinatan everywhere I went. I had no idea if he was kidnapped or murdered. But I was afraid to know the answer. From the beginning, I was held with two little girls, Hila Rotem and Emily Hand. Emily was 8 years old, and Hila was 12. I had to be brave, not only for myself, but also for the girls. Hila and Emily were both released in the first hostage deal after 50 days. I watched them and two other women who was with me in captivity going back home to their family. As I will stay behind. I wasn't a part of any category that could be released. I can't even begin to describe what's the feeling to be the one that's left behind. After 54 days in captivity, it was just me, Itay Chen, and Yossi Sharabi. Yossi was Eli Sharabi's brother. Eli Sharabi was released after 500 days in captivity. When he got back home, he discovered that his wife and his two daughters was murdered in October 7. Eli is a hero who's never stopped fight for every hostage. When I was in Gaza, bombs were falling all the time. We were in a war zone 24 hours. One evening, our house was blown up, and we were stuck under the rebels. I couldn't move. I couldn't breathe. I thought, this is going to be my last second of my life. I pulled out of the rebels. Itay and I tried to help Yossi. But when we got him, it was already too late. I will never forget Yossi. He was a pure and kind soul. He will always be in my heart. Our guarder moved Itay and me to other house. But 2 days later, Itay was murdered by the same guarder. Itay was executed. Itay was with me since the first day in captivity. We told each other everything. I wouldn't have survived without him. May his memories be a blessing. From Itay and Yossi's stories, we can understand that in captivity, everything can change in a single moment. At any moment, we can lose our life. And I thought, it was in front of my eyes. We cannot let it happen to anyone else. We cannot let it happen to Avinatan. From that moment, I was by my own with 5 filmed terrorists guarding me in the same house. I lived in fear every single day. I didn't want the guarder to suddenly lose control and kill me. All the terrorists there was armed with many weapons, knives and grenades. One mistake and all the entire situation could turn upside down. And I saw it happen. I was terrified. Every second felt like the last second of my life. On June 8th, the day I was rescued, the Israeli soldiers, including the hero Avinatan Or, broke into my room and said, "Noa, we are here to bring you home now." I couldn't believe it was happening. Coming back home to Israel was the happiest day of my life. My dream came true. It was everything I thought about for every second, for every day, for 246 days. Even today, there are moments I cannot believe that I'm safe. Standing here today is a miracle made possible by heroes like Avinatan Or, who gave his life to save mine. His wife Michal asked everyone to remember Arnon not only as a hero, but as a person of values, a charming, loved, pure person, and a perfect father. And this is how we will always choose to remember him. May his memory be a blessing. So as I stand here with you today, I said, this is nothing short of a miracle, but my journey is far from over. My partner Avinatan is still in captivity until he and the 58 other hostages come home. I'm not truly free. Last week, I was stand on the red carpet as one of the Time 100 most influential people in the world. I'm honored to be among such an impactful group of people. But as I told the audience there, I'm physically here, but my heart is still in Gaza. A year ago, I didn't know if I will ever make it out alive. I was lucky. I was rescued. But Avinatan and all the hostages need to come home. Until their return, I'm not truly healed. 59 families in this endless nightmare. Everyone in this room can help bring them home. I want to say thank you to AJC who stand with me and all the hostages from the first moment. AJC was fighting for my return while I was in captivity. And now, AJC fighting for the return of Avinatan and all the hostages. AJC has been one of the strongest partners in this fight. And for that, I want to say thank you. After losing my mother and so many of my friends that been at the Nova Music Festival, and also friends who are fighting in the war to protect our country, I hope that we could be able to dance again. I hope that all of our hostages will have the chance to meet their loved ones as much as my family got the chance to get me back. I ask you, please use your voice. Please use your influence. Help make sure that the world doesn't look away. We need them home, now, before it's too late. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Adi and Yael Alexander.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Yael, and this is Adi, and we are Edan Alexander parents. We would like to share with you a short segment of a video that Hamas released 2 weeks ago, right before Leil HaSeder.
אני החייל עידן אלכסנדר, ואני אסיר בעזה כבר יותר מ-551 ימים. אף אחד לא רצוי, ואתה משאיר אותנו כאן. אני כבר הגעתי למצב של שבירה, בגלל הגועל של העולם ושל ממשלת ישראל. הנשיא צב, אני באמת האמנתי שאתה תצליח להוציא אותי מפה בחיים. למה נפלת על השקרים של נתניהו? תגיד לי למה. למה אני היום פה סובל בלילות מסיוטים? כל יום אני שומע את הקול של אמא שלי, של אבא שלי, של אח שלי הקטן, כל יום אני שומע את הקול שלהם. למה אני היום פה? למה?
569 days, think about that. 569 days of families living a nightmare. 569 days of our loved ones have been held captive. That's far too long. And every day that passes makes the situation worse. They are weak, they are suffering, and now, as the intense heat of Middle Eastern summer bears down on Gaza, the physical and mental state is getting worse rapidly. This alone should scream urgency to the world. But there is a truth that cuts even deeper, a truth that fuels our plea. The people holding our sons, our fathers, they do not value life. It is the hardest thing I will ever say, but I might say it now. Hamas doesn't care if they live or die. This brutal reality is why every single second counts. Edan and 58 others held captive are in a constant danger of being killed or lost in the rubble forever. Their lives, their very dignity, means nothing to those who hold them. They need to come home now. We're talking about 59 individual human beings. We need a clear and firm strategy to bring all 59 home. And yet, all we hear, the most hopeful scenario, often involves the release of just a few more. That is not enough. We need the Israeli and American governments to demand and work towards the release of every single hostage. And here is a difficult truth we must face. We do not currently have a strategy to bring every hostage home because that would require ending the war. And the Israeli government, as this stands, is not willing to end this war. So I ask directly, government of Israel, if ending the war is not the path you will take right now, then what is your strategy to bring all 59 hostages home? What is the plan that guarantees they safe return? Finally, let me share one last painful truth. Politics has become a barrier. The lives of these hostages have not been made the absolute priority they must be. To the leaders of America and Israel, this is not a time for political maneuvers. This is a time for true leadership. Rise above political considerations, prioritize human life, devise and execute a plan to bring every single one of our loved ones home. Every day we wait is a day they suffer more. Every day we delay is a day we risk losing them forever. The time for action is now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please welcome Ruby and Hagit Chen.
evening, everybody. We are the parents of Itay Chen, Ruby, and Hagit, a U.S. citizen held by Hamas for over 569 days. I am a proud New Yorker, born and raised in the city. We have here New Yorkers here with us. There we go. Here we are, some New Yorkers. First and foremost, I'd like to thank the American Jewish Committee for inviting us. And I want to say a big thank you to the AJC leadership team, Ted, Julie, Jessica, Houston, God knows so many more, for being in our corner for almost 20 months, helping us coordinate hundreds of meetings in the White House and Congress, and never letting us feel that we are standing alone when going into Washington. So give a big thank you, AJC. So I moved to Israel, met my wife. We decided to build our home in the city of Netanya, about 10 miles north of Tel Aviv. We have 3 sons. Itay is the middle sibling. Our eldest just finished IDF service in a technology unit. Our youngest son, Alon, actually had his bar mitzvah a week after, October 7th. Itay enlisted into the IDF, joined the tanks division, and was stationed at a base called Nahal Oz on the border of Gaza that fatal Saturday morning. He and his team were mobilized. They fought for a number of hours, protecting Israeli civilians from being murdered by these savages. But after a couple of hours, no backup, their tank was neutralized, and 3 of the 4 tank members were taken hostage. The 4th one actually was killed, pinned down in the tank, and brought to burial a few days after. That ended the battle of Itay and his team members. But then a new battle began. The battle of 241 families, a battle to bring our loved ones back home, because the government of Israel, unfortunately, have not prioritized this goal of bringing all the hostages out, but prefer to dismantle Hamas before that. And we've heard that, unfortunately, from Israeli cabinet members, even publicly, the last week. And we even had a cabinet member here in the United States this week say the same thing. And it's very simple, folks. Total victory does not happen only until the last hostage comes out. When President Trump won the election, we felt a renewed sense of hope. We believed in his leadership, his strength, and personal concern for American hostages would lead to real movement. And I deeply thank President Trump for demanding the release of all the hostages even before his inauguration, that brought out the release of 33 hostages, including 2 U.S. citizens. At the same time, it has been almost 100 days since the new U.S. administration took office with the clear policy of America First. For American families like mine, families whose loved ones are still being held by Hamas, we prayed that we would already have seen additional results for this policy. But my son, Itay Chen, a dual U.S. citizen, remains still in captivity. So do other 4 American citizens. We just heard from Yael and Adi of their son, Edan Alexander. We have here in the audience the parents of Omer Neutra, Ornan Ronen, with us today. And we have Judy and Gadi Weinstein from Connecticut that are also hostages, as well as other 54 hostages still in Gaza. Every day that passes by without their return is another day of anguish, uncertainty, and pain. And we wake up each morning with the same simple dream. We get a call from the White House saying, Mr. Chen, Mrs. Chen, we want to say to you, your son is on his way back home, and we hope that day comes soon. I believe that President Trump cares profoundly, but the truth is, the first 100 days of his administration have not delivered what the president himself demanded: the release of all of the hostages, including the U.S. hostages as well, and sending a clear message to terrorist organizations anywhere that holding U.S. citizens anywhere is a liability, not an asset. And that the United States needs to say that American lives are not bargaining chips to be used. As the weeks pass, the fear grows that the window to bring our loved ones back is narrowing and will disappear forever. We have seen this administration act boldly on other areas to implement the American First policy. For example, when it comes to economic policy, tariffs and financial pressure have already been deployed as tools of American strength. We need to apply similar pressure to release the remaining hostages. The U.S. is not just a facilitator in this conflict, but has direct equity in the form of Hamas killing on that day 45 U.S. citizens and injured hundreds more. Justice needs to be seen, and my family, as well as the other hostage families, have urged the administration, the Department of Justice, Treasury, to expand their efforts to bring out the hostages. President Trump is an extremely gifted negotiator. His team successfully released dozens of U.S. citizens from war zones with direct negotiations. And I urge from here President Trump to directly negotiate himself for the release of the U.S. citizens in Gaza, rather than use third parties, such as Qatar, to negotiate for the release of these U.S. citizens. In January, we saw what the President's direct involvement can do to release the hostages. I'd like to close my remarks by asking you to remember one word: unity. The Jewish people have prospered and survived for over 5,000 years on the principle of taking care of one another and not leaving anyone behind. This unity has been missing in Israel, and I urge the members of the AJC to take a stand and be more vocal in demanding the Israeli government show the required unity which has been the backbone of the Jewish faith for so many years. Prioritizing the release of all the hostages and setting a target. We want to know when the last hostage is coming out. It needs to be by the end of May, and work backwards, knowing that there is a difficult price to pay for the release of the last hostage. But this is what is required to allow Israel to begin the healing and start a new chapter of rebuilding of its future. I would like to end with quoting a great American, Martin Luther King, in his famous speech, "I Had a Dream." He used the phrase, he coined the phrase, "the fierce urgency of now." The fierce urgency of now. And that is what we today are asking you, ladies and gentlemen. Think of the urgency of now. Ask yourselves and challenge yourselves, what can you do to help bring out the hostages? Those of you living in the United States, I urge you, when we leave here, go call up your senator. Go call up your congressman. Ask him, what have you done today to bring hostages out? If you're from Europe, call your parliament member. Ask the same thing. And end that question by saying, I'm going to call again the next day and the next day until we see all of these 59 hostages coming out. Bring them home now. Bring them home now. Thank you very much.